What would you do if your darkest desires came true? Would you invoke chaos into the world, corrupting everything you touch? Or would you head down to your local fast food restaurant and chow down on infinite burgs? Do I have the game for you? Winner of the A1 #1 Game Award and slapped with the official Porp seal, we have one of the strangest games I've ever come across, Crypt Worlds. Crypt Worlds is a game developed in 2013 by a team of people, Cicada Marionette, who also goes by Lilith or Elizabeth Deadman, and a person who goes by Zoe. It's a first-person exploration game, and that's pretty much the simplest description I can give. The description on the game's website provides some more insight.
In our world, you can die at any time, for no reason whatsoever. This single fact has acted the primary inspiration for Nintendo's new AAA item, Elizabeth Crypt Girl, the game that plays you. A reflecting tool of the futility we all experience, Crypt Game Desire is the only game that painstakingly replicates the banal conditions which define all our lives. You will collect gold only to forget what point there is in collecting gold. You will grind against the walls of the crypts, yearning for any sensation in this lonely hell world. You will laugh, and then realize there is nothing to laugh about, and then cry. Then you will cry even more. After several hours of this, your tears will flood the room and you will suffocate as a result of your own realizations into the true nature of waking life. Enter Crypt Worlds, a knife which will cut through the thin veil which obscures the infinite nothingness contained within our lives. Nothing will survive beyond this point.
If you dig even deeper on the website, you can find a guide which provides even more context.
Once in a while comes an artist with a vision so distinct that it has the power to crystallize the voice of an entire generation. Crypt Worlds, your darkest desire, is such an artist. Imagine a world without sides or borders, a world where it's possible to literally do or go anywhere you could possibly desire. Crypt Worlds explains over fine white pasta in one of New York's hottest new boutiques. What most people think of video games aren't really video games at all. Understand that I'm not dismissing these experiences as inferior. I'm saying they don't exist. They never happened. At 10:40 a.m. I'm in the Majave Desert. I get that there is no water or shelter for several going miles around that I'm all alone here at Fishery Desert known as Speaking Asylum. Am I playing Crypt Worlds? Or is Crypt Worlds playing me?
Really, I can't describe this game. You have to play it to understand what's going on here. I found this game from Vinesauce way back around 2013 when I was a little gremlin that terrorized that community. I've had a fascination with it ever since, and I even did a live playthrough of it on my Twitch.
Oh!
I have bombs. I have bombs. I don't want bombs.
Alright, I'm gonna shoot between Caden's legs.
Oh,
I move.
Hell no, hell.
Alright,
Upon launching the game, we are brought to this lovely title screen with our main character front and center, and a bird circling overhead. This ominous bird call is the only ambiance we can hear. Hitting New Game, we speak to the goddess Marania in a dream. She clues us in that the evil force Dendigar has displaced the 5 goddess relics that are key to Marania's power. It's important that we retrieve them to re-establish order, or else Dendigar will destroy the crypt planes. Not only this, but the god of chaos is close to reawakening, and if he did, it would be, well, chaos. So our main quest is to find the 5 relics within 50 days, or else the world will be destroyed. We wake up and begin the 50-day time limit. There is no time limit on each day that you actually spend, but each day progresses the game forward, so you do have to sleep to complete the game. Before we start, I'll explain this HUD so you can actually understand what's happening. At the bottom left, we have a representation of the player. Their mood can change depending on a few factors, mainly hunger. To the right, there is a counter for various items we pick up, as well as a counter for our days. At the top right is our location tracker. Top left is a meter, and in the center, towards the bottom, is a dialog box. At the top, we get system notifications, such as when we pick up an item. Our house is a meager little one, with a bed, a basement, a toilet, a phone, a farm, and an alien. Outside of the house, we have a woman who will trade various goods we come across for gold. Exiting out of the menu, she wishes us a very pleasant day. There's a small area that connects multiple important locations together right outside of our yard, and there's a hole here. I wonder what we do with it. Exiting out the opposite side of this forest maze, we come to the prairie. There's not much here aside from a truck, this mysterious door, a ritual circle, and some peaches that give us some seeds when we pick them up and slightly fill this meter up at the top left. On the opposite side of the prairie, we enter into the Pilgrim Village. There's all sorts of stuff happening here. We have various families talking about how they fear the Sky Pilgrims, a trash fanatic, some sentient TVs, a shopkeeper selling a relic, and a piss raider. Wait, a piss raider? Many things in Crypt Worlds can be urinated on. It's actually a pretty important mechanic that we need to progress forward, and don't worry, this measly 100 piss we have, well, we can increase that later, but we'll come back to that. Over here, there's a hole that leads to the tunnels. Here we find an array of characters, as well as the titular McDonald's. On the menu,
Food, fries, burgs, swah.
approaching the counter, the cashier lets us buy some food with gold, and based off of that, we can get some McDonald's points to spend at a nearby kiosk for some sick rewards. We can casually stroll into the back of the restaurant where we find a dead rat, as well as some workers amazed at the crystal technology capable of turning any matter into burgs. On the other side of the tunnels from where we entered, there's a museum that has some old stones that give us a bit more exposition.
In the dark age of Bendigar, there will rise an unexpected champion, a chosen one who will come to smite the evil from the world and awaken the old god. The chosen one will retrieve the 3 powerful tears of God, located within the ruinous worlds of the past. Upon collecting the 3 tears of God, the chosen one must move beyond the realm of the living, and unite the tears at the pyramids of Meat deep within the underworld. Once this has been done, the old god of chance will finally awake once again, and a primal chaos will engulf the world. It will be grand.
So by us aiming to take down Dendigar, it seems that we will invoke chaos no matter what. Be that what it may, we still need to complete our mission, so we can make our way out of the tunnels with this ladder and find ourselves back at the forest maze. This hole we came across before, you can piss in it and get a golden bug. Collect 10 of them for something, I'm really not too sure what. Personal accomplishment, I guess. On the adjacent side of the forest maze, we can find the crypts. Here we come across various characters, such as Rob Layak, who is really itching for a rare tape of Horrible Screaming Murderer 4 Director Cut, somewhere in the crypt. There are a bunch of pilgrim knights bravely facing the crypts to search for Dendigar, and then there's Dendigar. And Dracula too. In the crypt, there are these holes that lead to an underground lair. Dropping down, you find a bunch of nerds forced to work on developing Crypt Worlds, with Cicada Marionette watching over them. There's also Cliffy B and Shigi Miyamoto. If we keep talking to these nerds over and over and over again, eventually, this happens. And from that point, every character speaks in hex code. With no other option, we have to return to the center, which will teleport us out, and oh god, what happened? We've been teleported into a chaotic dimension of glitched out life forms, most of which speak on how great their form is and how we, a complete being, are the one that is truly flawed. Then this guy says we can crash this place if we need to. Entering this building, we come across a big glitch who taunts us, and we can beat him by pushing him over the edge with our piss. After beating him, we return home only to find that everything turned into cowboys. Every non-important sprite-based entity in this game, as well as a good amount of textures, have now been replaced by cowboy sprites, and after their dialogue, they tip their hat to you. This is the reality you chose. In our backyard, we can plant the various items we've picked up. Bones, crumbs, seeds, you name it. This will be the beginning of our cash flow early in the game. Well, that was an exciting first day. Let's head to bed. Day 2. Let's head to the prairie to figure out the key behind this door. And what do you know, you have to piss on it to move it. We don't have enough piss to move it in one go, so with our measly funds, we need to run back and forth between this door and McDonald's to stock up on piss soda. A few rounds of number 1 later, and we've entered the ancient citadel. After some platforming, we find our first relic, as well as a piss upgrade. There's an archaeologist here who's been trapped and assumes that he's probably dead, so he really doesn't want to be bothered. From this point, we can do a few things. We can stock up on McDonald's points for some upgrades and some additional areas to explore, or we can try to grind for some more gold and buy a relic from that shopkeeper. The other relics are out of reach for now. Regardless, we do need gold. Easiest way to get gold right now is to cycle between going into the crypts for these treasure chests and waiting for the various things we planted in the backyard to grow to sell to the woman outside. Right now, if we pass 100 gold, the rest of our earnings are taken by the elusive gold demon. We can circumvent that by acquiring the wallet upgrade from either the shopkeeper or the McDonald's kiosk. In order to get the relic from the shopkeeper, we need 150, so we need to have at least one wallet upgrade right now. Before we tackle that, let's acquire this trash disposal room from the McDonald's kiosk. This will unlock a room in our basement that spawns trash cans. It also adds this small room in the back of the basement that's host to a debug maze. It's full of weird shit. Here's a small list. A small pilgrim rejected by media executives, a dead person rejected by media executives, a treasure chest rejected by media executives, Wendy, Dendigar's cousin, a giant bird, a dead rat, a living rat, more depressed TVs, Cicada Marionette, and Chad. In the middle of our basement, there's an archaeologist that can start a new dig for us for 10 gold. It'll take a few days, but it'll open up some ruins for us to explore, so let's do that. There's also this tent here. Inside this tent are a bunch of anthropologist druids, as well as a furnace in the center where they're burning sacrifices. There's really not a lot to do here, and oh, here's Dendigar's cousin. In this playthrough, I just decided to get all the McDonald's upgrades immediately. It doesn't take much time at all. After a few days of farming gold, we get everything. One of the items included is a personal spot, which holds another relic as well as another wallet upgrade. Since we passed a few days doing this, that dig the archaeologist did for us is now done, revealing the first city ruins that we could explore. This is a great spot to get some money and other valuables, as well as another relic and Tear of God. These tears were spoken about in the prophecy, and they're required for one of the endings. So we're 3 relics down, 2 to go now, and with the gold that we've been collecting, we can pretty easily buy the 4th relic. Oh hey, this truck moved. Alright, and there we are, 4th relic bought. Now we just need to get the last one, and to do this we need to wait until we hit a 5-day interval, so every 5, 10, or 15 days, and then the prairie will darken, letting us approach this ritual circle. We can give offerings for various items such as the Tape of Horrible Screaming Murderer 4, or the last relic. This one also costs 150 gold. So since we gotta grind a bit more, let's do some exploring. The second set of catacombs is similar to the first minus the relic. There's this weird door that's inaccessible for whatever reason. At the end of the crypt is Marionette. Since we don't have the 5 relics, she doesn't want anything to do with us and calls us a nerd. If we enter this hole in the crypt, we can go to hell. The room we spawn in has these 3 dudes standing around a monolith to the Chaos God. Each of them talk about how badly they want him to come back. If we exit, we'll find ourselves in a waiting room, where we have to wait a random interval of time before we can leave. We can talk to some of the people waiting here, with some of them being nicer than others. After a certain amount of time in the tunnels, this door opposite of McDonald's opens up. Inside is a computer mainframe named Porp. They want us to assimilate everything in the vicinity, which does take quite a bit of time, but it's not too big of a deal since the payoff is well worth it. After completing the task, we can now become a cyborg ourselves, allowing us to move faster, hack the kiosk for additional upgrades, and piss oil. Truly a dream come true. Not too sure what triggers this, but after a certain point, the Pilgrim Village sets on fire. Mostly everyone dies except for the Piss Raider. If we collect 5 bones and bring them to the witch instead of getting the relic, we can get a copy of Horrible Screaming Murderer 4 and bring it back by our house to get it signed by the actual Horrible Screaming Murderer. Bringing it to Rob, he will give us a key in exchange for both a tape and 100 gold to his place. It's a neat little side room where the witch we exchanged with also lives. There's another piss upgrade here too, as well as some edgy posters. Alright, let's get that last relic. With that complete, we can head over to Marionette, where she takes us to the final sequence of the game, a fight on the moon with Dendigar. She gives us a mech to pilot, and we are meant to shoot Dendigar down as he flies around. Really doesn't matter how much you shoot him though, as in the end he sets up a bomb on the moon and gets ready to blow everything up. However, a ship malfunction causes Dendigar to unintentionally body block the bomb, killing him while keeping us alive. Marionette takes you back home, and there's a big celebration congratulating you on a job well done. The shopkeeper is now rich, the sky pilgrims are no longer a threat, and the alien knew we had it in us all along. It's a nice little send-off that wraps up some loose ends, and we can now head back to our house and collect Ending 1, the good end.
The world is safe from Dendigar. You saved the day. Other things happened too. But most of all, your life now has meaning. Not really.
The other 2 endings are not nearly as time-consuming, so let's get those done real quick. The bad ending is actually pretty straightforward. We need to run down the clock to 50 days. Once that's done, we're greeted with a cutscene involving the moon descending upon Earth and destroying it.
In the end, Dendigar did a great job. He had a lot of fun and learned things too. The world is gone and now is in a better place. This has been his story, not yours. Maybe next time y'all get a chance? But I doubt it.
The last ending is a bit different since we don't get an official game over screen, but it soft locks the game, so it's similar. With the ruins the archaeologist digs up, we can find these Tears of God. After we get 3 of them, we can sleep for 4 days in a row to die and end up back in hell. In this little room with the Chaos Worshippers, if we stand on the center of this little pyramid, they all disappear and we are brought back to the overworld, where everything is now red and covered in glitching sigils. All the NPCs minus Marionette are gone, and we cannot interact with anything outside of doors. Above our house, the God of Chaos spins around. He destroyed everything. So that's Crypt Worlds. We start as a lowly pawn to a god and slowly work our way up the food chain with piss, conversational skills, bartering, and burgs, to eventually take down the evil forces of Dendigar from causing the end of the world. We made some friends along the way, got rich, helped quite a few people, turned into a cyborg, and pissed a lot. Whatever happens to this world, we can rest easy knowing that we saved the day and that Marionette will watch over everyone. Wait. The bad ending is the canon ending? We're We're supposed to fail? Ah, fuck. There is a sequel to Crypt Worlds entitled Crypt Underworlds that was released in 2023. I've played it, and I'll be honest, if this game seems like a fever dream, I'll just show you the intro of the second one. I'll get into Crypt Underworlds later. It's an amazing game. However, the stakes in it, as well as the way that it plays, are wildly different from what we experience in this one, so it'll probably take me a while to get to that. If you did enjoy this video, please leave a comment, like, and subscribe. I will be making videos on other weird games as well as streaming them on my Twitch account, Gunner Live. You can find me over there playing those, League, CSGO, just kind of whatever I'm feeling like on whatever day. Don't really have a set schedule. I'm really just kind of trying to do this to get myself out there a little bit more with content, so just let me know what you guys think. Otherwise, we'll be getting into some other games here soon. Might be Crypt Underworlds, might be another game called Hello Charlotte that I've done a video on a long time ago, but we will find out. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I hope you have a good day.